Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's November 14th, 2013. To my left is Logan Burgess and I'm Brock Shimbano. Slightly negative tone for the markets in Chicago. Let's turn with a fire tip to see how we ended. Corn was down 3 1/4 cents, soybeans off 1 1/2 cents, wheat in Chicago down 3/4 of a penny, and Kansas City was up just a penny here today. You know, Logan, we've had a pretty quiet trade over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Today we did get some new fundamental news, especially for the corn market. The EIA production figures did come out and look pretty strong again.
Yeah, you know, for the third week in a row here, we saw a very strong weekly production figure. Last week, on average, 927,000 barrels per day was produced. As I said, another very strong number there. And right now, what's driving strong ethanol production is very good margins at ethanol facilities. Certainly, we've seen corn market trade lower here over the last month or so. And take a look here at this slide showing December 13 ethanol futures. We've seen the price of ethanol rally since the November WASDE report. And, you know, as a result, a lot of incentive right now at ethanol plants to be producing ethanol. But we really haven't seen these stronger production figures carry over into the corn market and support price. I think the reason why we're not seeing a real floor get put in this corn market yet is that, you know, as we talked about on yesterday's show, there's still a lot of uncertainty about what the renewable fuel standard is going to look like here for the upcoming year. And there's a lot of uncertainty, you know, with that in mind, where final ethanol production is going to rest here at the end of the year. So it doesn't seem like these very strong production figures are supporting corn futures here at the moment. I think once the EPA makes their final mandate, then the corn market can kind of move forward, and we may see these weekly production figures support price a little bit more.
You know, as it stands right now, we did see some good demand numbers here today.
Yeah.
Turning our attention over to the soybean market, we do get some demand figures by way of the NOPA crush figures tomorrow. Take a look at this chart here. This is what we're expecting for those NOPA figures to be. Soybean crush is going to be slightly above where we were last year at the same time, but take a look at where soy oil stocks are. They're significantly lower than where we were the same time last year. That shows a couple of things. Soy oil was still in very good demand last year, although we weren't crushing as much and producing as much soy oil over the last year or so.
Yeah, certainly. We know that the crush in general really weakened there toward the end of the marketing year. Basis on spot delivered soybeans during the summer was sky high. And, you know, we had quite low crush figures there. So that's kind of what's driving the soy oil number lower there. I think tomorrow's NOPA crush number is going to be really important for the trade because in the November WASDE report, we saw the USDA raise expected crushings by 30 million bushels. So tomorrow's report is going to be looked at as kind of a confirmation that the crush is going to be strong this year and provide a lot of demand for soybeans here domestically. If we take a look here at the January 14 soybean futures chart, you can see here that after the November WASDE report, we've rallied quite a bit. But in the last 2 days, if you look at the last two candles here, it really looks like a market that's seeking direction right now. Really uncertain if we're ready for another move higher or if this is going to be a near-term top here. In my opinion, I think this soybean market still does have some upside. Demand remains good and we have a very short crop, but as a prudent risk manager, right now I'd be taking a serious look at selling some soybeans into the cash market. We've had a very good run since the November WASDE report, and cash basis is above the board right now at a lot of elevators right now. So the cash market's inverted. That's telling soybean producers to move some of that grain into the cash market. And I think right now, given the futures rally, like I said, as a prudent risk manager, it's time to take a look at making some sales. I think there still is a little upside, but with that said, these are great prices compared to what we've seen here over the last several months.
You know, over the last couple of days, we have hit new near-term highs.
Yep.
Today, we did hit a high, the highest point we've had since September 27th.
Yep.
I think we hit 1321.5. So I'm right there with you. You should probably be looking at making some sales. If these are the worst sales you're going to make on this crop this year, that's not a bad price, around 1313 or so.
Yep.
Sticking on the demand side, tomorrow we do get the export sales figures. This is what is expected from the analysts across the industry. Corn is expected to be 800 to 1 million metric tons, 800,000 to 1 million metric tons. Soybeans 900,000 to 1.2 million metric tons, and wheat falling again down to 350 to 550,000 metric tons. We did get some revisions in the last USDA WASDE report last Friday to soybeans and to corn. Soybeans got bumped up on the expected total for the year by 80 million bushels. Corn got bumped up by 175 million bushels. So we're expecting some good showing for the remainder of the year for both corn and soybeans. And keep in mind that even with these revisions, corn continues to run about 155 million bushels of the pace needed to meet those expectations put forth by the USDA, and soybeans is running about 294 million bushels ahead of pace to meet those new revisions by the USDA. So we have had strong showing. We should start to taper off towards the end of the year, but we have a long time between now and then to determine if these export sales are going to meet expectations.
Certainly. So tomorrow should be kind of a big day in terms of demand side numbers for the grain market. Just to recap here, we have export sales coming out tomorrow morning at the normal time, and NOPA numbers will be out at 11 a.m. Central Time. We'll be tweeting about both those reports as they come out on Twitter. At GrainTV is where you can find us over there. In general, though, that's kind of what we saw here today in a grain market. As I said, a grain market that kind of looks like it's seeking direction right now, soybeans in particular. If you have any questions about what we discussed on today's show, feel free to give us a call at the office. The number is 877-472-4607. Thanks a lot for joining us here on a Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow to wrap up the week.